What's good, y'all? It's your boy Kenny Buttons and Miss Madly coming to you live from the A-Room. Let's go!
The price is wrong, bitch.
All I hear is gift, we need that beat, my nigga. We need the verse. We need some heat, my nigga, like it's the first. They know I got it, nigga had it since birth. If we ain't talking about the bag, we ain't talking about the work. No more freebies, no more IOUs. I go Stevie, wonder how these niggas really see me.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kenny Buttons, Miss Madly. Welcome to the A-Room podcast, our 6th episode. What's going on, Madly?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Unbelievable. Can you put some bass in that shit?
What the fuck you want me to say?
Well, you know, y'all, the A-Room podcast is a podcast from producers to producers, exchanging information on the daily grind. We appreciate everybody who has tuned in thus far. All your feedback and comments have been appreciated. So today's show, we're going to be featuring a couple of talented producers. The homie Bangalore. Bangalore's from South Jersey. And
Ratchet
also,
Gods.
oh yeah, that's right, the Ratchet Gods. That Ratchet Gods from Philly, right?
Yes.
Shout out Philly, shout out South Jersey. Thanks everyone who's contributed at this point. Like we've gotten a lot of heat. We're building our library, so we'll be able to, continue to play great music for every podcast.
Today's featured artist is
The homie Innocent. The name of the joint is entitled The Butler 2.0. It's produced by the homie Stan the Man. Mm-hmm. Another familiar face, another familiar voice with that heat. So yeah, we're gonna feature him as well. I'm also doing an EP with Innocent, so he's a talented dude. Excited to work with him.
he sounds so great on records. I've
really,
heard a
really
couple of
does.
the tracks already.
Yeah. So, you know what that means, y'all? It's the soup of the day. I'm hungry. Let's get that shit.
So today's soup of the day is what every producer is talking about. It's what Russ, the artist, has been saying about producers being the reason why the music or hip hop per se is whack today. So I know you have something to say.
Oh, listen, when I saw the post, I was completely taken back because I'm a singer-songwriter producer and as an artist, and when I select a record, like I have to connect with it. Like I have to love the beat. I have to love the music.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no way that I'm gonna release a record or sing on a record that is even remotely whack or that feels whack to me. Yeah. So to hear Russ say, well, I'm only giving whack beats, so I have nothing else to choose from. Yeah. What an excuse. So thank you, Russ, for keeping whack alive, I guess. I mean,
yeah, totally. Because it's isn't it up to an artist more or less to choose like what they go with? And so I have a big issue with that statement. First of all, I mean, if we must find a single reason, even though it's never just one single reason that contributes to an issue, I'd say it's the structure of the business where the synergy between the producer and an artist is missing. We have an instrumental created by a creative, and we have an artist on the receiving end, also a creative.
Right.
But then we have a bunch of non-creative middlemen in between who, with all due respect, might know music but aren't creatives in most cases. Right. So they're not concerned about the integrity of the creation. And they're more concerned about the business, money, and the politics. So the chain is broken. We have a piece of music coming from a creative, going to a creative, but there's a bunch of gray area in between where the music and the actual creation gets lost.
Right. No, I agree with that. But what really sets it off for me is that here's a guy who's doing extremely well for himself.
Right.
He's touring the world. He obviously has a fan base who loves what he's doing. Shout out to you and what you've created thus far. But then to mention in the same interview, the same breath to say, all I'm receiving is whack shit, but then say dudes like Dre and Scott Storch and these producers are the ones who are holding hip-hop together. You got the money, so why don't you approach the guys who are quote-unquote holding this shit together, pay them the money that they deserve so that they can produce the dope tracks that you say that you need and you're looking for.
And the other thing, the reason why I brought the system of the music industry into this conversation is that you and I both know at least 50 producers personally who are wonderful, great producers who I can vouch for hands down and eyes closed. Like we have Nook Point One, yourself, we have Ratchet Gods, we have Sick With It, we have all these people who are like exceptional beat makers and producers on another level, you know what I mean? So the fact that these people are facing red tape and is another big and huge issue in this industry.
Right.
You know, why don't you just take a leap of faith and reach out to these people then? If you don't want to pay Scott Storch and all the other people that you look up to, fine, that's cool. Reach out to people who are making wonderful, exceptional beats, you know?
No one's going to do that, especially Russ, because everyone is looking for an opportunity to get on. So dudes like Russ and everybody in Russ's position are looking to exploit that and get what they need for free. So why are they going to pay a dude like Scott or Dre or some of the dopest producers out here, you know, the money that they deserve when they're getting this shit for free?
If that is the main and underlying issue and reason, that's cool. But I feel like there's another issue, which is people don't have the ear anymore. You know what I mean? Like you can be a great artist or a great producer or beat maker, but it doesn't mean that you have the ear to know what's going to fly or not.
This is very true. I mean, the tastemaker is almost essentially extinct. Like
yes,
you know,
it used to be a producer. Remember?
Right. The producers were the tastemakers. We were the ones who were you know, foreseeing what the future was going to be for music, and that's essentially gone out the window.
There were people who got paid for just having the ear. Like you didn't even have to make anything. This was your job. Now that job description is put on an A&R, but you know that they're not being selected for the position based on their ear. So now, again, coming back to what I was saying earlier, a track that was created by an artist, somebody, a creative, going to another creative is somehow, you know, being delivered by people who most likely don't know music like the creatives do. Right. So this is terrible. This bullshit.
Well, it's terrible, but it's unfortunate. This is the way, like we talked about in one of our previous podcasts, that this is where music and the creative process has moved. We're creating in a whole different way today. And so it's easier and inexpensive to create that way. So if you're co-signing that all you have is whack shit, then you're responsible for why music is whack today.
Totally.
Or why music is in a shitty place. Russ, you have everything to do with why that is. Pay the motherfuckers who can give you the greatest records that you're looking for, that you say you need.
And look out for these people. That's another thing. I think the problem is that artists today a lot are just relying on people sending them and feeding them music. This is your brand. Right. You should be going out there to beat battles, to showcases, to find the people who are not whack. Right. Why don't you do that? Why are you just sitting there waiting for the emails to come in?
And to shit on the mouths that are feeding you, that's completely out the window. I mean, these guys are feeding you music. And to call it shit, to say it's whack, and this is going to be a continuation of our last podcast, to shit on the heartbeat of this music business is not a good idea, Russ. Thank God you know how to produce music. And shame on you if you know how to produce music, but you don't know how to pick great music. That's on you, homie. That's on you.
I'm really, really interested at this point to know how much he pays for producers. You know what I mean? How much he pays for the beats that he gets from somebody else. Because when you make bold statements like this, you better be paying the top dollar.
Listen, I'm almost sure, and I'll put my last dollar, and it's coming down to the last dollar, but I'll put my last dollar on it that Russ is getting music for free, because here they're exploiting these young dudes who are up and coming, who want an opportunity to get the music for absolutely nothing, or they're hitting a lot of these sites that are leasing beats for $20, so they're getting this shit for absolutely, close to nothing, if not nothing.
Right.
So listen, Russ, you have control. You have the power. Seek out the right producers that make that heat that you're looking for, or stop picking the whack shit. Either way, it's on you as an artist.
We're segueing straight into the main course right now. So let's start. Let's get it.
We're going to save that for the main course. Well, listen, you know what's next. We're hungry, and we've been hungry since last week. Let's get it.
Ma, the meatloaf! Fuck!
It ties in well with the subject we had last time. Why do people in the music industry feel like they're entitled for free or cheap instrumentals from producers? I think it comes from the fundamental discrepancy because people think that producers and artists, in a way, are both on a come up or they're both in the same boat, but I think they're not. I think producers are still providing the service regardless of how we look at it. Even though I might be unknown and my artist might be unknown and we're both trying to make our names out there, I get it. But it's still... I'm still providing you a service, just like an engineer and just like other people involved, people who offer you marketing, people who are doing your social media. You can get them for free, but it shouldn't be expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I agree with that. But I also think the other part of it is social media. It's the internet. You know, how much is at our disposal for absolutely nothing, from crack programs to tutorials yeah. to different platforms. Everything is laid out for us. Because I can do this and get this and have that for free, your services should be the same way. The other part of it is too, Matt, these companies, the leasing companies. Why would someone want to pay us what we deserve to get paid when you can lease a track for $20? When you can get 3 beats, you know, for $19.99 and get the next 5 for free. So we're contending with, and you and I have had this conversation, the novice, you know, the one who does this on a part-time basis because, you know, this is his hobby and he loves doing music. So he throws, you know, his catalog on a website that sells his tracks for $10, $20. And this has become a wave where, you know, we've gotten hit records from it. But now it's almost the norm. Like, you know, if you're not doing it for $20, if your services is not as cheap, that's what we're competing with.
True. But then you end up like Russ with tracks that you're not really happy with or things that you know, instrumentals you feel are lacking.
At the end of the day, you have a decision to make. You either love the record and you connect with it. And that's the thing. Like, you connect with it as a creative, as an artist. If you hear something that opens you up to vibing and creating on the record, that doesn't happen on something that's whack. If it's whack, it's whack. It goes in the garbage. You don't fuck with it. You don't listen to it. The fact that Rust is saying that he only has this and he's limited to this, and so this is what he's left with, is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. It's definitely also contributed to the oversaturation of the market. You know, the people you were just mentioning, you know, that are leasing the beats, that are selling them for dirt cheap. It's exactly what is polluting the market, so to speak. So then it's to people like, you know, Russ and other artists to make the choice, you know, to either go for the polluted waters or go seek out the people who are putting out exceptional work that you really do want to fuck with.
Well, you tell me. If you can go eat at Del Frisco's and it's going to cost you, Del Frisco Steakhouse here in New York, and it's going to cost you $200 to eat there a night, you and a partner or a friend, but you can go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal for damn near nothing, free. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the Happy Meal for nothing, for free. And again, this is what we're dealing with. How can we contend with, you know, the internet, the social media, giving it away for nothing? You know, I mean, you can get on IG for nothing. You can start your own profile on Facebook for nothing. You know what I mean? They exploit it in different ways to make money, but everything is free. So tell me, how do we 180 and get it from going from absolutely nothing to now actually being compensated for what we do, for our services. Because that's the issue. We give a service, a great service, and that service is looked at or compared to with those who are leasing beats for $20.
I mean, you can lease a good beat for $20 too. I know quality music that's being leased, and that's a different story for a different day. However, I completely understand what you're saying. I think the answer there is again, the artist. They have to go through and choose which one they want to pick. I understand that the price is the main negotiating point, but at the certain point, you as an artist should respect your craft enough not to jump on whack shit. That's my opinion.
And that's a good point. Our craft, what we create, is not respected enough. The craft in itself has been forgotten. The respect for what we do and how long it takes for us to create a record and what goes into doing that and the necessary hands that sometimes it takes to make it happen is completely forgotten.
Yeah, I must agree with you there. I really do. And then that leads us to the whole, I blow up, you blow up thing that we briefly touched last time. I mean, that to me, as a selling point, is like weak as hell. Unless you have a proven track record as an artist to show me, hey, this is how much I sold last year, this is how much my single did, then that to me is just an excuse to get free stuff from a producer. And I had to learn it the hard way. I'm sure you have stories, but I recently worked with an artist who I had a relationship with through my engineer, and she was selling her agenda heavy. She had a distribution deal, she had a manager, everything seemed to be on point as far as the business goes. And of course, knowing her through somebody and she came recommended, I gave her 2 tracks.
Right.
And one of them I really spent weeks on because I created it from scratch. It was fully orchestrated, no samples, and all that good stuff. And she ended up just ruining the record, to make the long story short.
Right.
The version that ended up on the album was distorted. It wasn't mixed properly. It was just a bad look. I didn't even want to put my name on a thing.
Right.
And needless to say, 5 months later, this song only has about 1,000 views or streams on SoundCloud. So this is now when I'm thinking back, when somebody comes to me and says, hey, let's do it for good looks or whatnot, I'm sorry, like it's just not gonna fly.
Unfortunately, the problem with the producer today is they're not hungry enough. They're thirsty out here. They're willing to do everything and anything they can to get on, not realizing that they are a big part of the puzzle. There is no music business without the music. Music is essential. Music is the heartbeat and why we can have all of these other professions in the business. So without any music, the artist can't write songs. We need to take back, that we have something that the industry needs. This service is needed in order for music, period, to be heard. So the value, we don't understand the value that we have and the power that we hold. The artists that you're working with or that you want to work with, you hold a great amount of power. Understand that there can't be a project without it. So I don't want to keep hammering it in, and Maddie's looking at me with like 8 faces, like, stop saying it over and over and over again. But it's true. How do we get past the point of not forgetting?
Another thing is, what artists need to understand is our catalog is our currency.
That's right.
Like a lot of times when somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want this for free, they don't realize that this is money for you.
Right.
Even though it doesn't have the dollar signs attached to it, it's money. It means next time you're in a meeting, you have one less track to play, which means that this is possible money that you're not making,
Right. And this is the industry norm. And the advice that I've gotten from several people is, well, you gotta be patient and wait. So now this track that could potentially make me money, maybe on the licensing end or placed with another artist, I now have to wait for another artist to make a decision on the record. I got to tell you something, Madly. I don't play that game. Like, if I've given you a record and I don't hear something back, in what I feel is a decent amount of time.
What is a decent amount of time for you?
I feel like the artist knows when he connects with the record and he writes a good record, if he or she wants to keep that record. The problem is when you're working on a project, the artist is recording 20 to 30 records in order to find that great 10. So, A, I have to wait for you to go through that process, and I still haven't gotten paid. But B, you go through that process, and a year later, you come out with your 10, and that record didn't even make the cut. So now I didn't even get paid. I waited a year, and I maybe lost out on some opportunities that came along. You know what I mean? So I don't even play the game. That happened to me recently. I was asked for a track for a particular project. They had the track, and the track sat in the can for a year.
And you didn't get paid for it up front, right?
And I didn't get paid up front. And then another situation, an opportunity came, and I'm like, well, this record would make perfect sense for this artist. And I said, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to wait. I shopped it to the artist. The artist loved it. And we're going to do it today. I won't allow myself to be subjected or even caught up in that mind frame. That's the thing, too. It's a mindset. Well, this is the way the business has been doing it for the last 50 years, so you got to just do it. No, fuck that. This is a new generation. This is a new time. Music is being done differently. The way we think is different. The way consumers consume music is differently. So why, as the creative, should we now have to still live in the Stone Age of waiting for the executive or the artist to make a choice? You have the record. You heard the record. You know you like it. Write the record. If not, I'm going to keep it moving.
The whole issue of front-end money, which we are told that we shouldn't expect or should be minimal, is exactly that. It allows us to put the record aside, to reserve this to this person.
Right.
So next time when I'm going to a meeting, I have less track to play. At least I know I have something in the bank for that record.
I got paid for it.
Right.
I absolutely agree.
And I think that was initially the overall, reasoning for having upfront money.
Right.
And now all of a sudden we're suckered out of it,
Listen, 9 times out of 10, and this is not including the independent artists, most major artists have a budget. So, and this is already budgeted for. Music is a part of the budget. Because of the time we're in and the way business is done, that money tends to be used for something else. I'm not reaching here. I'm not assuming when you're with a major label and it comes time to put an album together, music is a part of the fucking budget. Production is a part of the budget. Why aren't we seeing that part of the budget? Period.
Yep.
If you're doing an album and you're under so and so, you have the money. So whether I'm charging X amount of dollars for a record, you should be expecting to pay.
Like if my instrumental makes 50% of the final product, how is paying me an afterthought? Right. That's what I don't understand. How am I the bottom list of after videographers and marketing people? Oh, well, we don't have the budget. Right. Oh, fuck you. Right. What do you mean? Right. I'm 50% of what is being heard on the radio.
This is
how am I an afterthought?
Right. This is, and again, let's bring it back to its birth. Music starts the process. So why aren't we being the first ones who are being compensated
get chipped off
before anyone in the team is eating, or like you said, videographers, whoever are being hit off? The music, the producers should be getting hit off first.
And how is our part negotiable? Like to the point where, you know, like, oh, but videographer comes with an hourly and gets what they ask for.
Exactly.
And we are negotiable. How the hell?
Right. I know videographers that charge $500 a video, and that's what it is. Like, it's cheap today to get a video for $500 when we know coming up, videos were shot for tens of thousands and maybe $1 million. You know, today they're getting their money.
It's unbelievable that we are in the bottom of the list when it comes to getting paid.
100%. That has to change. The way we think has to change. The creatives, we're going to nail this home. The creatives need to be compensated first. It's the heartbeat of the business. It is why so many people have jobs, Madly. The VJs, the DJs, the bloggers, the journalists who write about music, the engineers. I mean, we can go on. The companies, the digital platforms who are putting this music out on a daily basis. Everyone is in business because there's music to write to put out. That's why. We don't understand the power we possess. Our music facilitates a whole lot of other shit. It really, really does.
It does. And then it comes down to, like you said, the mindset and then respect for your work.
That's it. We're hammering this shit home. I don't care if we repeat it 80 times. This is what we're going to do until you people understand that the producer needs to get paid for what he or she does. Period. Well, you know what comes next. It's that side dish.
What the fuck did you put in that sauce?
Well, our side dish today, our featured artist is the homie Innocent. His new project is called, or the single is called, The Butler 2.0. Again, produced by our homie, our friend, huge supporter. Shout out to Stan the Man.
Yay.
He's amazing. Let's go. Here it is.
I just come by to ask you for $10. I don't want to hear that about how I live.
I don't expect shit from no one, take shit from no one. I earn all my credit, I said it, I don't regret it. To hell with all the rhetoric, a problem we can settle it. I'm nice with the hands and somehow with that metal shit. Hotter than the kettle get, steam coming out of my fitted. To the point anybody could get it. My own moms even look at me different. Told me stop all the riffing, make a difference. If not, stop spitting. These cats all kittens, milking the game. Thought that I was bullshitting when I entered the game. All I wanted some respect on my name, up to my neck in this game, and I'm just trying to see a check with my name. See a check by my name like Inno made it. Cash money, baby, and Wayne, I'm not playing. 30 mil, give me the pill, I'm MJing. Trying to break records, I just can't break a record. I got so much work, could call me the Vid Kid. Smokey Robinson the rap, Donald Robinson is crack. I'm just trying to bring it back, so ain't wild with the raps. In fact, I'm like the third rail riding the track. A lot of niggas wanna rap, but looking for change back. Gotta change that, show these niggas where your brains at. If you pleasing past niggas, never switch your lane back.
Yeah, that record's tough. That record is so tough.
He sounds so amazing.
That's the one thing that attracted me to him was his sound and how great he sounds on records. You know, when I close my eyes, I could listen to him rap all day. So shout out to Innocent, Stan the Man for a great joint. I look forward to working with Innocent and putting together this amazing EP, which is going to be coming to y'all very, very soon. Well, you know what that means, Miss Madly.
It's the end of the show.
Yes.
Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for your comments, likes. Thank you for sending your tracks. We really appreciate it. See you next time.
Thank you, everyone, for fucking with us, following us, tuning in. Don't forget to follow the A-Room Podcast on all social media. If you want to drop us a line, you could do so. The ARoompodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow the homie, Miss Madly, your boy Kenny Buttons, the homies, hiphopcanada.com. We'll see you next week. And don't forget to eat.
All I hear is gift, we need that beat, my nigga. We need the verse. We need some heat, my nigga, like it's the first. They know I got it, nigga had it since birth. If we ain't talking about the bag, we ain't talking about the work, no. No more freebies, no more IOUs, I go Stevie. Wonder how these these niggas really see me, cause what I look like. Not charging y'all for punchlines and talking left, knowing damn well that hook right. Yeah, I got some raw shit. Y'all know what my cook like? Serve your hors d'oeuvres, keep a tray by my hip. Second base, pass your bitch, slight delay with my pitch. Poetic with the words, she put her A on my tip. But back to the lecture at hand, I'm the shit. And ain't shit free, you busy rapping about